All right, well, here we are. This podcast. It's finally time.
Go,
It's
fellas.
week 0. Game days tomorrow. Lions,
Yes,
Chiefs.
sir.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. But yeah, thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching. So highlight a little bit about what we're going to be doing. So we'll be talking a little bit about fantasy. And then obviously going into week 1, because it's still technically week 0. We'll talk a little bit about our predictions, maybe give some division winners, and then talk a little bit about each game and some things to look out for. But yeah, thanks for watching this and really enjoy the content. So you guys want to talk about the fantasy recap?
Yeah, sure. So
Cool.
the draft was interesting, I can say, at least for our league. Draft was very
so
interesting. With a shout out to Mr. John Bueno, aka DBB, for Down Bad Bueno. For taking the 49ers defense in round 9. How do we feel about that, fellas?
Look,
I mean, just a homer pick. Just the definition of a homer pick, like you can't complain about it just because the Niners defense should be the number 1 defense in the league, but it's also like, dude, the 9th round.
Yeah.
You could have got your starting quarterback there. You know what I'm saying? It was just blasphemy at that point. And John wasn't in the actual Zoom that we had, but we were all bullying him like he deserved. So I'm glad that occurred. But yeah, it was crazy.
Let me pull this up real quick. Keaton, you talk while I pull that up then. While I pull up the draft.
How I feel about it personally, this man was guzzling his team.
You pick 3 Seahawks?
No, I did not.
Yeah, you did. You picked at least 2.
No, I've got Geno Smith and Kenneth Walker.
So
Kenneth
are you
Walker,
just the one hand stroke then?
Yeah,
the 2?
I'm. John was everywhere from anywhere, dude. John got game banged.
Kenneth Walker in the 5th round, Keaton. Right here.
1,200 yards from scrimmage. Anthony, if you I don't know how to do it on Mac, but look, 1,200 yards from scrimmage. Obviously Geno Smith had a very good year, and my gamble was to go quarterback as late as possible. So I don't know, man. I feel like I got a good team. Deebo Samuel, right, as wide receiver. T. Higgins, Kenneth Walker, who as long as he stays healthy, he's gonna be good. I got Cam Akers, TJ Hawkinson, Tony Pollard, and then Geno, who, let's be honest, if Geno's anything like he was last year, he's going to be better than is projected, because that's what he was last year, and he's projected to get 303 points this year. And with adding Jackson Smith and Jigba, bolstered our offensive line and Jackson Smith and Jigba. So,
pull up all 3 of our teams.
So here's Keaton's team right here.
Anthony, that's showing up a little.
Yeah, we can't see it.
Here, let me share it. I'll just share my screen.
Yeah, you can share it. We'll have to restart that.
All right, can you guys see that?
A lot better, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
There we go. Yep.
All right. So obviously, Geno, I got when I got Geno. But if it's just, I don't know, man. My only concern is that I reached for Tony Pollard. I knew he wasn't going to last, but I didn't know. I kind of reached.
You were right after me. I didn't realize that.
I reached a little bit, and I look at Saquon, and I'm like, he was there. But what I value, honestly, health, and he was healthy last year, and I value scrimmage yards, which is also why I got Kenneth Walker, because they're just guys that catch in the backfield and run for yaks. So. Yeah. Anthony, how'd your draft go, by the way?
My draft honestly went pretty well, I would say.
Who are you? There it is.
Ankle Ant.
Ankle Ant.
That's foul.
Ankle Ant, breaking. My ankles are always broken, Yep.
Big time.
Yeah, so first pick overall, I was like, Zach kept on telling me, he's all like, the obvious pick here, and he was talking about Cooper Kupp. I'm not sold on Cooper Kupp, especially with that hamstring injury he's got. It can be so reoccurring, and I personally don't trust that.
Wait, that wasn't
even though I did.
Round.
It was for my first round.
Cooper Kupp out, baby.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. It was for my second. So my second pick was AJ Brown, but no matter what, same thing. Was not having it with the hamstring injury. I was like, I don't trust that. Matt Stafford, sure, I did draft him last pick, but I also am not the biggest fan of the Rams offense besides Cooper Kupp. But like I said, the injury, that was just a dead giveaway, so that was not for me. So first pick, I was picking Devontae Adams, solid wide receiver 5, potential wide receiver 3 even maybe. But then I went A.J. Brown, and I was like, you know what, A.J. Brown, it is. And I just trusted that a lot more than Cooper Kupp.
Fair enough.
I will say my only hate on your draft is Najee Harris, because I don't love Najee, man.
It's tough.
I don't
That's
love
okay.
Najee either. He's
Round
a big
4
boomer
and
bust,
5
and
did not have a lot of running backs in them.
I will say though,
no, it did not.
They were gone.
it's not like Dalvin Cook is a bad running back.
No,
I'm not sitting
Dalvin
here and
start there.
you know what? If you're going to tell me that Breece Hall, if you're going to tell me that Breece Hall is going to come out of an ACL tear,
no, I agree, but
look, I'm not saying, but you're talking about a Dalvin Cook who's 4 straight Pro Bowls. I think for me, that's a steal at 88. Because
I agree.
I don't know if especially for the first few weeks when trade value's high, I don't think Breece Hall is going to be that guy. And I think when you're still trying to
starting week 1.
No, he's not supposed to. Yeah. I would be surprised. Is he?
Yeah, from what I heard.
He still lists as questionable. So
scroll down. What does it say on there? A little bit more.
ACL tear. It doesn't really have any information.
Nothing. Doesn't really have anything.
Yeah, but that's. Okay. I mean,
here, let's see.
Yeah, Hall will also likely experience a light workload early in the season, leaving him out of the fantasy conversation for now. So I'm not saying that it's going to be for 5 straight, 6 straight weeks, but I think for the first few weeks, just having a Dalvin Cook at that late of a round, knowing that, hey, his trade value is still high, yeah, it's going to be valuable. And I think the Jets are still going to try and figure out what's going on with their offense. So
I agree.
Yeah. Zach, dude, I'm not going to lie. I was looking over at this. I was like, this is very boomer bust.
That's what I'm saying, bro. I never pick a team that's big on boomer bust. And this team is huge on boomer bust. So,
dude, it's bad.
Let me walk you through everything, right? So if you go back to the first round, I thought that, okay, so Ant and I had been like mapping out all the picks. And I was like, okay, like I know I'm not going to get Kelsey. Kelsey dropped to 5. And I'm like, Mitchell is the type of dude that would pick fucking Kelsey. He always has Kelsey. So I knew I had the choice between Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp, because Cooper Kupp still was kind of like on the edge of his injury. And then who else was it? Maybe Bijan. There was another running back. And so I was like, all right, I'll pick the obvious here, Tyreek. I know that he's going to do really well. And then I get to fucking pick 19. So on the way back from the snake, Cooper Kupp is sitting there. Cooper Kupp's ADP is 7. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to pick him. And then I get to fucking round 3, so we do the other snake this way. And I need a running back, clearly. Like, I'm fucking only wide receivers right now. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to pick the best available. And so I picked Jahmyr Gibbs because I think his upside's higher than a lot of the other running backs I saw. And then this is when things got dicey. So I really wanted Darren Waller. And I knew on the snake this way, I would never get him on the way back, you know? So I was like, fuck it. I'm going to pick him at 4. I can get a good fucking running back at 5. Nope. There's no running back there except for Alvin Kamara, who, if you click on his name, he's suspended for the first 3 games. Now,
I thought it was 4.
High?
Is it 3?
Yes.
Lil Uzi Kamara.
Yeah. Is his upside high? Yes. Is he suspended for 3 games? Yes. Will I have to play Miles Sanders as my RB2? Yeah. It's not great, but it is what it is. And so then I picked Deshaun, and the reason I picked Deshaun is because I knew all of like the – so like if you go to Bijan Mustard's team, you could see Trevor Lawrence. He was drafted 65, so round 6. I knew all the good quarterbacks or like the tier 1 and 2 quarterbacks were going to get drafted from round 3 to 6. And so I've been eyeing Deshaun for the longest time. And to make matters even better, I put a bet on Deshaun Watson passing for more than 1,000 yards with my dad. So that was a little bit of a homer pick.
In the season?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Wait, no, actually, it might have been 4,500. It was either 4,000 or 4,500. I can't remember. But
I thought you said
Anyway.
1,000. I'm like, dude,
No,
holy
no,
shit,
no.
that's
No.
easy money.
And his best year with the Texans, I think he threw for 4,800.
Yes, I believe his rookie year he threw for 43, and then 2018. Because I watched him play his rookie year for 2018, I believe he almost threw for 5,000, and then from there it was just like a little bit less and a little bit less.
Right.
So yeah,
2020 he threw for 4,800 passing yards, 33 passing touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. That's when he almost won an MVP. So that was like my thought process. He's had a full year to develop with that offense. I think he'll do well. And then I started fucking reaching kind of with wide receivers that get injured. They have higher upside, but they're not like solidified flex players. So Jerry Jeudy, Michael Thomas, Gabe Davis, Raheem Mostert is the starting running back for Miami. So I thought he would be a really good pick in round 10, and then the rest just kind of fill in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not like upset with my team. I'm not happy with it. I did probably 30, 35 mock drafts. None of them even got close to this team. Even close. Like, even if I did pick Tyreek Hill, I never got Cooper Kupp in the second. I never even saw Jameer again. Not once. So it was it was unexpected.
It's one of those things where like I look at the team and I'm like, sometimes I go off projected. I'm not a big projected guy because I think it's early on in the season, you don't really know. But like I look at this team, right? Obviously, as you said, Cooper Kupp out. Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
His ability to play kind of lies within the fact that Tua Tagovailoa doesn't get another concussion and or 17,000. Darren Waller.
Your two on the field.
Yeah. But yeah, like you look at Kamara will be fine in that system. He'll be great. Deshaun Watson, I don't know. Jerry Jeudy's obviously still dealing with hamstring, and Michael Thomas.
I don't like Jeudy at all. I don't like Jerry Jeudy at all.
Michael Thomas to me is
Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Like he just dropped to me, so I was like, can he do it? Maybe. Will he do it? Most likely not.
Can we take a look at Isaac's team for a sec? I want to give out a shout with Isaac's draft actually because I think Isaac may have the best team in our league right now.
Which is funny because if you look at his projected, he's only projected like 111, and I think it's because he's got a player that's not supposed to play. Although Joe Mixon is going to play. But no, dude, Isaac was on it because Isaac the last 2 years has been awful.
Yeah,
he has been a bottom tier guy.
I don't know, man.
This is a lot of boomer bust stuff too, though.
Crazy.
Now,
Keaton, go to our fantasy league and look at the what is it called? Final something projections.
Okay, so go to standings. So go to your standings. Okay. And then on the top right, final standing projections.
Yeah, final standing projections. Yep, that's what it is.
Yep, I clicked the wrong one.
Now look at this. This is interesting to me because Mitchell is supposed to be the first place team, and I'm second with that boomer bust team. And I was second to start disclaimer. I was second to start the league last year. I ended second to last. So this means absolutely fucking nothing for fantasy. But it's just weird seeing like how ESPN kind of grades these teams. Like, who's Bijan Mustard?
That's Stewie.
It's Alex. No, I think it's Alex.
Right, and Alex
Stewie.
Boomer bust.
Stewie picked Bijan because he has a hard on for Bijan.
Yeah,
for
that's his team.
Reason.
And Bijan was the 6th overall pick, which is crazy.
I'm sorry though. I think Alex's team is the worst though.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like the final standing projections, it just is weird. Like it's not very consistent. It's kind of off with like what you would assume the best teams are.
Yeah.
And like maybe it's because they like take into account like some of these players can either boom or bust, and like the best possible is second for me, and the worst possible is fucking probably 10th or 11th. You know?
Yeah, see, Zach. this is my argument for me has always been, you see like, oh, there's no movement from 12, 11, 10, 9 all the way up to 1. So in my head, I was like, oh, well, I gotta, I'll play it I'll play it for what it is. I have been, for the most part, pretty successful in the regular season. I've been in 2 championships. Obviously, I haven't won any, but whatever.
I feel you.
Yeah,
Been in one.
I feel like San Francisco in big moments, but that's okay. But no,
Speaking
I
about
like
big moments.
yeah.
Talk about
We'll
bust,
talk
am I
about that
right?
later, though. We'll talk about that later, though.
Talk about bust, am I right?
Yeah.
Maybe busting
Anyway.
real good.
Yeah. Anyway, so I look at this and I always
What
thought
you
that they
talking
didn't.
about?
These actually didn't matter. But you look at the 5 versus the 4, and then I don't know. I don't know if these are actually.
Like, how did that happen in 4 days? Like, what
I don't
happened?
think-
Like,
I
did they
don't-
get like a
I don't
waiver
know.
pickup?
No, I
No,
don't.
that
I don't
happened
know
right after
if
the
these
draft.
exist.
That happened right after the draft. The
Like,
they
that makes
trade?
no
5
sense
to
to me,
4.
you know?
Yeah,
They made a trade, so that's probably what it was.
they didn't make a trade.
Oh, did they?
Oh, they didn't.
I don't
no,
think
they
anyone
didn't.
made
I'm saying
trade.
that happened. No, I'm saying that happened right after the draft is when it adjusted for some reason.
Right. Regardless, though, the
only
final standing
transaction-
possessions are weird. Like,
Yeah.
they're really weird.
The only
Well,
transactions that have
yeah,
really been made is Zach making that transaction on the waivers.
Right.
Yeah,
And the defense.
I don't know. I
Also,
don't
it
believe in
is
like the
kinda
week
weird.
1, week 2.
I don't know if
of
you guys
this.
have ever done waiver wires with a certain amount of money that you can auction. It's fucking
No,
weird.
I've never done that.
It's really
Dude,
weird.
I don't-
We have $500, which seems like a fuck
I
ton
voted
to me,
against it.
but I got the Ravens for $7, and the Jets are playing the Bills this week. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start the fucking Ravens. I don't know who the Ravens are playing. I forget, but
I can tell you right now. Actually, I can't because I can
Sure.
tell.
I can
They're
actually.
playing the Texans.
I actually can.
they're playing the
Yeah,
Texans.
Ravens play
so
Texans,
it's like
which should be a
$7
ball.
a defense that will probably score twice as much as the Jets.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's fantasy. I think all 3 of our teams are pretty solid. Happy with the way the draft went, besides John picking the fucking Niners in the 9th
Glizzy
round,
Goblin.
which made no sense because that's when everyone else started fucking picking defenses. Defenses started going in like
Ah!
the 10th or 11th.
I went. Look, I'll be honest. I went. Let's see. Let me go to my team.
And then kickers were starting to go like 12. I'm like, dude, what are we doing? But other than that, it was pretty solid.
Yeah,
I can't complain. And we got through it pretty quickly.
Well, yeah, it was nice.
Well, tight ends started going really fast too.
I
Yeah,
literally
they did.
got.
They were going like 3 and 4.
I got my kicker at 14. I got Jared Goff at 15, but then I got the Cowboys defense at 11, which
See, yeah, exactly.
John did kind of scare me because I look at Tyler had Patriots defense at 12. Mitch had Steelers defense at 12. Most people had Jets defense at 13, which is fine. A lot of it was 13-12, but then you go all the way up and see John, and John went fucking round 9.
This is what I'm saying, though. This is what I'm saying. Dallas's ADP, their defense, is 127. Okay, let's look at the 49ers. 49ers defense ADP. Let's see.
Which the position rank compared to the Niners is a
So
3
yeah,
to a 4.
their ADP was 102, which means where did John get them?
Round 9.
Round 9.
He got round 9. Yeah, he got him pick 107.
Huh. So maybe he did get them on a good ADP. I don't know. Regardless,
I don't know.
I don't pick defenses until at least 11th or 12th. I thought
No,
that was the only thing a bit weird. Tight ends getting drafted early were not an issue, but it was just kind of a weird thing as well. Like, I don't know. That was something I wasn't expecting. And then other than that, like, honestly, I feel like it ran pretty smoothly.
Yeah, it did. I felt like, there was some moments where it was like, could we just get the move on? But
right.
Yeah, I think my only hate against the defense, and I did reach a little bit, which I'm fine. But for me, like when I've had defense, I've always like, for example, the Niners when is their bye week, Zach? I feel like you should know this, right? I think it's like week 5. I believe it's week 5.
No, it's 9. It's 9.
That was week 6 or 9.
It's 9. Okay, so you get to
9.
week 9, right? You get to week 9. Do you bench them and pick up another defense, but then you also have to drop a player, or do you just drop the defense?
Exactly.
It feels like a reach. That's why I always wait near the end. Which I reached, which is fine. But
I don't know. I don't know if it's necessarily like a reach with that, and like even dropping defenses, I don't know if that's even a good move. Typically, I just fucking bench them because I know that Niners defense is going to do better than the fucking Houston Texans defense you have to pick up,
Yeah.
So other than that, though, ran smoothly. Pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Yeah. Well, that's fantasy. Obviously, it's still week 0, so it's really hard to tell. I mean, we saw Cooper Kupp get injured. Travis Kelce might not play
That's a huge
tomorrow.
one.
Kind of funny.
Hey, that's actually good for me, man. I hope he doesn't.
Do you play Travis Kelce?
Yeah, Mitch.
Yeah, he plays against Mitch week 1.
Yeah.
That'll be a weird week.
Should be pretty high
I think he's still doubtful. So
yeah, I've seen that.
Do you want to just jump into week 0? Well, I guess week 1 starting tomorrow.
Yeah, sure.
Let's
do it. Well, sick. So obviously we've already talked about the recap, but let's talk a little bit about our predictions. We'll make it quick. We can go a little bit more in depth next week when we once we have a little structure to it. But for now, do you guys want to talk about your division winners, and then we can jump into the championship predictions and Super Bowls?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. I think that makes more sense chronologically.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna go backwards, but I was like, that's stupid.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
do we want to start with AFC or the NFC?
Well, I've got it structured as AFC all the way down to NFC. So you want to go with your South team, and we can just each take a turn?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure. So winner of the AFC South, is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Personally, I think the Jaguars are gonna win the AFC South title.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I feel like that's a clear. I feel like that's very clear and obvious.
Clear. Should be unanimous.
Yeah. It should absolutely be unanimous. Yeah. I think for me, Sorry. Oh, I'm looking at the AFC South. That's my apologies. I was like, wait, the Falcons aren't in that division. Yeah, I think you're looking at Titans, Jaguars, Colts, and Texans. It's really Jaguars or Titans, and the Titans are, to me, the most underwhelming franchise in NFL.
Yep.
So,
no, I agree.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, I'm glad we're all in agreement. I imagine the AFC West is going to be easy as well. You guys also have the Chiefs?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Not even a question.
Okay.
I do think, though, this might be the year the Chargers push them a little bit. And I've said this for the last 3 years. But I think that they have a roster to do it.
Okay.
Where do you guys think
I also think the Broncos are going to be better than people think.
I was going to say, what are your opinions about the Broncos then over the Raiders in that case?
Okay.
Oh, for sure. I think the Raiders are last for sure.
I think the Raiders are last. Did you guys see the report of what Sean Payton said to Russell Wilson?
No, what did he say?
Okay. Go ahead and keep talking. It's funny that you bring this up because I read this on Twitter and I thought it was so funny.
Zach, why do you think the Broncos are going to do better than the Raiders? What's your opinion on that?
Well, there's a couple reasons why. Number one, I think Russ is a little bit more comfortable in that offense than he was last year. And I think I'll say this. I don't think he'll be back to his regular form with Seattle, but I will say I think he'll be a lot better quarterback this year, which means they should win more games. They have an explosive offense if they can stay healthy. Javon Williams is coming back, or is his name? I think his name's Javon Williams. Javonte, excuse me. Thank you. Javonte Williams is coming back. Like we said, their wide receiver core is pretty fucking solid with Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, and Mims. Their defense has been one of the best defenses in the last 3 to 5 years. They have a really good secondary. They should be decent. It's really just coming down to staying healthy, coaching, which I think Sean Payton helps a lot with. And Sean Payton has also had a lot of success with shorter quarterbacks, Drew Brees.
He has.
That's another reason why I think they could be decent. And I think it really just comes down to offensive line play. Like their offensive line last year was not great. And really just, I feel like it comes down to that and staying healthy. Now, do I think the Broncos can make the playoffs? Probably not. I think they could be like a game above 500. But in a division like the AFC West, I think that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Let me read you this. So it was an interview, but Sports Illustrated has a quote, a visual quote. It says, and Sean Payton was asked about things he's talked to Russell Wilson about. It says he told Wilson that to salvage his career, he needed to focus less on Russell Incorporated. And in quotes, he said, "Will you fucking stop kissing all the babies? You're not running for public office. You're a fucking quarterback."
Oh my God.
Which I honestly, this is recent. I imagine it's at some point during, but I look at I'm reading a bunch of stuff about Broncos because as a Seahawks fan, I still, I feel for Russell. I mean, he brought us a Super Bowl. So he, and he'll be a Hall of Famer. I mean, in Seattle, he was a Hall of Famer, right? And I know he's lost like 15 pounds of fat. So he's a little more slim. I've heard he's more mobile. And then he's like, to me, what I'm reading is that he's back to his roots. I think the money got to his head. I think the fame got to his head. And he's like, it's just him now. And so I'm really excited for that team. I think there's
potential.
Unlimited pussy. So
unlimited.
But so you're just a big fan of Russell Wilson. You just really want to see him do well.
I do. I was happy to see him go because as a realistic Seahawks fan, I knew that his future with us was never going to lead to any success, and we were just wasting money for a quarterback that didn't really fit our system. And but it's like, yeah, the first year that I watched him suck, I loved it, and now it's like, okay, I've gotten over my transgressions about him. I want to see him succeed, so I'm excited for that. But
that's like Jimmy G with me. Like I hope.
Yeah.
He does horrible shit. I'm praying
that's how Brady was with me. I mean, except that won the fucking Super Bowl the year after.
He won the Super Bowl.
I'm so fucking pissed, dude. I mean, I was happy that he won one, but I was all like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me, Brady! You piece of shit."
He gave you so many. Honestly, you can't complain.
No, I can't. And I'm actually excited though for Sunday because we're having the tribute basically to Tom Brady as our home opener at Gillette. So that'll actually be pretty cool.
Nice.
Really excited to see that.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, AFC East.
We all think the Chiefs are going to win the AFC West, and we all think that the Jaguars are going to win the AFC South. And now moving on to the East, which I think is the most interesting division in the AFC.
I do too.
Not sure if you guys agree, but this is one of those divisions where
I agree.
There's 3 teams that could win. Sorry, Ant, your team isn't one of them.
No fucking shit. This is how I think it's going to go.
But the offense just is not dynamic. It just is not dynamic.
We only have Mac Jones and no one else. That's Ramondre. I'm sorry, it's Ramondre, and that's it, in my opinion.
What about
our
Zeke?
Powerhouses on our offense. Fuck Zeke.
What about Zeke,
bowling
dude?
Ball piece of shit. Piece of shit bowling ball. That's what he is. All right.
What about Kendrick Bourne?
Hear about that.
Wide receiver 3 for an NFC Championship Niner team? Come on, man.
N'Keal Harry.
Yeah.
We also got TikTok star on our team.
No. Did you guys see the report? Did you guys see the report? They said that his knee is like close to exploding at any fucking point. He had a physical recently, and they said that they've never seen a wide receiver's knee at his age this bad. That it in quote, it's close to exploding. Yes, following any minor injury. His whole career is could be over this season.
How many times has Juju blown out his knee?
I don't think he's blown it out much, but I think he's just probably had arthritis in his knee and fucked it up.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, we're fucking doomed. This is how I think the AFC East is gonna go. Already, pure confidence. Bills, Dolphins, Jets, Patriots. Between the Bills and between Miami, I think it's going to be so fucking close, but I think Bills are still going to take that on top. I think it's going to be so close, though. Jets are also going to be very close in that mix as well, though. I will give them that.
Yeah.
Jets look very well.
Yeah.
They look very good this season. I think they're going to do great, but that's just how I'm looking at it. And I think no matter what, between those 3 teams, it's going to be close. And then there's the Patriots. And it's just going to be a rough season to watch them.
I've got a flip-flop. I've got Dolphins
Keaton.
over the Bills.
Yes.
But
Keaton, I knew you were going to say that, and I agree with you.
But
I agree with you for sure.
Look, I love the Bills. I really do. I not personally, but I love them as a franchise.
You root for them.
Yeah, I'll root for them. But I don't love Josh Allen. I don't. I think to me, him and Justin Herbert are the 2 most overrated quarterbacks in the NFL. I think Justin Herbert might have just been overrated because of Joe Lombardi as his offensive coordinator, aka Charlie Checkdown. With the Bills, though, I watch Josh Allen week after week after week after week choke or show his cracks in the 4th quarter. I see the same thing with Joe Burrow, and as much as I like Joe Burrow,
he's also shown out.
He does,
but they're also shown out.
He has, but he has these flashes where it's like, oh my God, this guy's the MVP. And then it's like 2 weeks of shit play that knock him out of the playoffs.
Right.
If Tua stays healthy, I really like the Dolphins, but I got Dolphins, Bills, Jets, Pats.
Yep.
So
that's how I see as well. However, I could see the Jets winning as well, and then I could see the Bills winning too.
Yeah.
Could be a really, really interesting division.
What about the AFC North? Personally, I've got the Bengals.
This one should be unanimous. Yeah, this one should be unanimous as well. Now, second place in this division, I think is really interesting.
Steelers easily.
I don't know.
I think it's going to be Steelers.
I think Lamar.
I think Steelers are going to go second. I don't like Lamar though. I am a big Lamar hater.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fuck Lamar.
Lamar. I don't. Fuck Lamar. I don't like him. I don't think the Ravens are going to do much.
I think Lamar might have a MVP caliber year. I think fresh off a contract in a revitalized system. I don't know. I'm excited, but again, like I think realistically, we're looking at a AFC that has never been this fucking stacked.
Yep.
When I was going through the NFC, I was like,
been this least stacked.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
3 teams.
I'm looking. 2 of the divisions in the NFC could be fucking toss-ups. I don't know.
Yep.
I'm looking at the Eagles and I'm looking at the Niners. I'm like, and for that matter, the Cowboys and Seattle. Those are like my de facto 4 teams.
Right.
And
okay, here we go.
Yeah. So go with your NFC South team.
So this is before we move on, my prediction for the AFC South. I think it's going to be Bengals, Ravens. And then I think the Browns might do it, and the Steelers might be last. I think that's a toss-up there. The Browns are so talented; they just need to put it together. But I will say, with everything I just said, I hate the Ravens. I can't stand them. I think they're the most overhyped team every single year. They are ranked 7th in power. 7th for doing what?
Yeah.
For signing Lamar? Like, to me, it makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean they're always highly ranked, dude. So.
Their best fucking pass rusher is Jadeveon Clowney.
Hey,
like
Seattle milked them for 1 year.
Jadeveon Clowney is your best pass rusher. Like that is just a recipe. Yeah. Again, I don't want to be a dick to him because he's been a great player, more than decent.
No,
player. I'll say that. He's been a good player.
Good.
He's made a couple Pro Bowlers. He hasn't been a great player, and he has not lived up to the hype.
For what he was touted to be.
Yeah, it's just like. If that's your best pass rusher, you're in trouble, especially in AFC. That's what I want to say. We can move on to the NFC now.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I agree.
I think it's just hard to bet against Lamar in the regular season.
Yeah.
I won't bet on him yet.
NFC South is what you said, correct?
Yeah, that's the next one.
You could start with this because I know who you want to win, and you talked about this a little bit in the last podcast, but I want to hear a little bit more into depth.
Well, I think it's the Falcons. I do. I have not seen a ton on Desmond Ridder. I've seen a lot of Falcons players and coaches and staff coming out and saying this is the guy, but it's a guy that played at Cincinnati. It's not like he was on net. As great as they were and as good as he was in college. Sometimes college quarterbacks don't translate to the pros, and we see it with schools like that don't run a pro style offense. So I'm skeptical about him, but the rest of the team I like. They bolstered their defense. They picked up, Jeff Okudah, who had an okay career, but I think he's got a high ceiling.
He's young though.
He is. Trey Flowers.
He's from the Lions, correct?
Yeah. You got Jesse Bates, Calais Campbell, Bud Dupree,
they got
Trey
Jesse
Flowers.
Bates. Oh,
yes,
that's right.
All 5 of those guys
Holy
are brand
shit.
new. They still have Grady Jarrett, who's fantastic. I'm looking at this team and I'm like, in this division, and this is kind of what I was saying, is this division makes no fucking sense. It's god awful. I don't trust Derek Carr. If wins were based on how many times you cry, the Saints would win the fucking Super Bowl because Derek Carr, I've never seen a guy that cries more. Derek Carr cries like an average white girl that just saw Taylor Swift for the 7th time in a row. I fucking love my team, guys. It's like, dude, we
the
get
next
it.
Snapchat is them fucking singing too, not even singing the lyric. I'm like, dude, stop.
It's a picture of Josh.
Down their face. Like, stop.
Yeah, so I think for me the Falcons are the safe bet. They've come close every single year. If they can figure out their fourth quarter struggles, I think they're in a really good spot here for a division that's fucking awful. So
yeah. I mean, I think there's really only two teams that could be competitive in this division, and you mentioned them, Saints and the Falcons. I'm gonna go with the Saints just because I think that they're more of a veteran team.
yeah,
I think.
I mean, that includes Derek Carr too, but they have a lot of talent there as well that's been portrayed on their defense. Cam Hayward's a dog. They have some offensive weapons, like I said, Kamara. They also have some pretty good young talent as well with their wide receiver core and
Chris Olave.
some offensive linemen
Chris
that they have picked up
Olave,
recently. But yeah, I mean they're pretty solid, and I think it'll be probably not a toss up between them. I think the Saints win pretty handily. But I could see the Falcons winning, and those are the two teams that I think are going to be competitive in that division.
See, I disagree. I do think it's going to be a toss-up. I am going to take the Saints, though, in the NFC South. And then I'm going to go Falcons. Like you said, I think the Saints just have more of a powerhouse of offensive weapons than the Falcons. And I'm just kind of leaning more towards in that direction. And then Bucks and Panthers, they just go eat dicks. They go eat dicks, honestly. But I'm going to take Bucks over Panthers.
Guys, can I change my answer? I just realized their third string quarterback is Jake Haener from Monte Vista High School in California. So, like, I'm a homer. I'm a big Danville guy. Go Monte Vista.
John.
Yeah. Oh. And he played at Washington? Oh, my God, dude. All right.
Someone clip that.
I'm going Saints.
Wait, can you do that one more time, Keaton?
Oh,
Can you do that one more time?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyways, moving on. NFC North.
So,
who we think?
Are we going NFC North?
Moving on. Let's go North.
All right. Okay. Zach, why don't you start, man?
Dude, my gut wants
a little bit more
me
difficult.
to take the Lions, but I think the Vikings have the team that could beat the Lions just because they have a lot of veteran presence there too. However, I think I'm going to go with the Lions. And the reason I say this is just because the Lions, I think, were first in the NFL last year and losing a game with less than 7 points, meaning they lost a game like 31-27 more than any other team did in the NFL.
I believe every single game
the
they
Lions
lost was within a one-score game.
Right.
The Lions last year, they were 9-8, and the Vikings were 13-4.
The Vikings were, I believe. Oh man, I think they were first in that category. Actually, yeah, the Vikings were first in the category of winning games with fewer than a touchdown.
I can tell you the stat real quick because I had a buddy when I worked at Dick's Sporting Goods. He was a Vikings fan, and they went into the playoffs. And I told him, I was like, dude, this team is not going to be good.
Right.
So there's a metric called points for and points against. Points for is how many points you've scored, and points against is how many points you've given up. I'm trying to find their stat, but I can pretty much just tell you that they were the only team that made the playoffs last year. Sorry, they were the only team that made the playoffs last year with a negative point differential. They allowed more points. Their defense allowed more points than their offense scored, but they won a ton of games that were like single score games, like a field goal, maybe won by 2 points.
Right.
So,
and that's why the betting odds versus the Giants were so close. Minnesota was at home with a 13-4 record. The Giants were 9-6 before that game, or excuse me, they went into that game 8-7 because they won it. And then they ended up winning because of that. And I feel like if we did talk about that during our last podcast with just the sell down group, or one of the last ones, I should say, I'm pretty sure that we did pick the Giants, or most of us did. So that's one of those things that you could just kind of easily predict. And I think that's going to be kind of the case for the Vikings. I also think the Vikings are not necessarily in rebuild mode, but they're almost on their way to that, where the Lions are more so building their team and creating a team that should be winning that division. And I will say, so I think the Packers could be a sneaky team as well.
Yeah.
But that's my prediction for sure.
Yeah. Anthony, what do you think, man?
Difficult to say. Last year, Lions were good, but just looking at the stats right now, I'm not too sure. But I do agree with Zach though, how Lions have a lot of potential right now, and they're really just building really fast right now. And I like their weapons. I like what they have on their team. I mean, Vikings, on the other hand, it's just kind of tough because realistically, I'm only looking at Justin Jefferson at that point. Yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna go Lions honestly on that one too. I think I'm gonna go Vikings or Lions.
That's fair. I think for me, I'm gonna go Vikings. I like how you put it as like the Vikings window is kind of shutting and the Lions window is kind of opening, but they're on opposite paths.
Right.
And I think about it as like a 2-lane highway, right? Like you got the Lions going this way towards Super Bowl, and you kind of have the Vikings who are just getting off of that window, and they're close, but they're starting to come back a little bit, and at some point they're going to intersect.
Exactly.
And
right,
I look at the Vikings, right, and I'm like, okay, they still have a consistent quarterback. They have the best wide receiver that I have seen in the last, I don't know, maybe. To me, Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver I've seen since Calvin Johnson. Just in terms of like his statistical output, but he's a little more like a Randy Moss or Jerry Rice.
Very much so.
But I think in just terms of dominance, I am very hopeful for the Lions, but this is the first year where I think many fans of the Lions and then just like critics and whoever are just not giving them okay, you're not the underdogs anymore. Like you're expected to have success.
Right.
But to me, this isn't the year where I'm like sitting here and I'm like, it's Super Bowl or bust. To me, for that, it's the Vikings. If the Vikings do not win a Super Bowl, I think their window is closed. They're old. They're getting decrepit. And I just don't love Kirk Cousins doing the same thing year after year after year of just getting close and not getting there. So I'm going Vikings this year. Yeah, I'm going Vikings this year. But for me, it's a toss-up. Like I could go either way. But I just think there's a little more consistency right now. And we just haven't seen enough out of the Lions yet. But I'm not saying we won't this year. So, yeah.
So do you have the East or the West next?
I've got the West. So this pick will not surprise you guys. Oh, other way. I actually have, believe it or not, the San Francisco 49ers winning that division.
I agree.
So I legitimately do. I'm not saying I look, I'm a big Seahawks fan. I know when my window's opening. Our window is like, it's starting to crack open a little bit. You know, it's like 76. The weather's nice outside. For me, after seeing the Nick Bosa acquisition, the window for them is starting to slowly just, it's got to happen in the next year or two because their cap space is a big issue now. Yeah. I think the Niners have a better defense. I don't think they have a better offense, but I think they have a more consistent. I think defense for me is more impactful for them than Seattle's offense is impactful for us. So in a head-to-head matchup, I think it would be a close game. But I still think San Francisco, also based off strength of schedule, has just a better opportunity to get back to the promised land.
Yeah, no,
I think is it's going to end up exactly how it was last season. I think it's going to go Niners, Seahawks, Rams, and Cardinals, exactly like last year.
Yep.
You know,
I think so as well.
I was sitting here last year thinking the NFC West was going to be super competitive, and it's not. And
then the Cardinals just took a poop. And the Rams got injured. It's like, dude,
the Cardinals. Yeah, I just
and now
don't know,
the
man.
NFC East, which will be our next topic of conversation,
final one,
is probably the most competitive division in the NFC.
Dude,
which is wild to me. You wouldn't have guessed that. But moving on, just
in my opinion,
it's unanimous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 3 teams from this division might make the playoffs as well, if that's where you were going with that.
No, I agree. To me, this is like the NFC East is basically the entire AFC this year, minus the AFC South.
Yep.
So it's going to be a stacked combine competitive.
Personally, I think it's going to go Eagles, Cowboys, Commanders, Giants. The only reason I have the Commanders over the Giants is because of their defense. I think it's kind of a flip of a coin for that one. and the Cowboys are the Cowboys, and I think the Eagles probably have the best. And this is not biased or based off of not being a Niner fan. I think that the Eagles have the best roster in the NFC. And now, do I think the Niners are like pretty close? Yeah, it's pretty close. But if I was just to sit down, look at the best roster, and not have a bias towards it, I would say it's the Eagles in the NFC. So
yeah,
that's my opinion with that. I would assume you guys are probably unanimous with the first place, but what do you guys think about second, third, and fourth?
Yeah, to me, I think you're really real quick. I think you're on about the Eagles and the Niners being close. I think the difference between the Niners and the Eagles is just the throwing ligament, right? The UCL. Yeah, I think it's just the throwing ligament. I think that's the only thing that separates the two from success. So, no, but,
oh my God, fuck you.
but I agree with you. I think the Eagles are the de facto team. I don't think they got worse. I actually think they got better. They had a really good draft too. So
they did.
I don't know if Dak is the guy, but I think just off that defense alone, the Cowboys are second, and then the Giants I think are there, but I don't have any faith in Daniel Jones. And I think the Commanders are just the Commanders.
Why
not?
I have a lot of faith in Danny Dimes, dude.
I like Danny Dimes, man.
I like him, dude.
I think
he's Charlie Checkdown of that division.
He's Charlie Checkdown, man.
Hot take. He could be the second best quarterback in that division.
I don't know. I think we're forgetting Trey Lance. So, pennies on the dollar, right?
Anyways.
So,
anyway,
well,
moving on. Who do you think?
I think we're all good. So,
I think it's going to be Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, and Commanders. Once again, I think it's going to be the exact same thing as last year. I think very clean, very easy, like no doubt. I don't like the take on the Commanders of being above the Giants, though. I will say, Zach. I'm not a fan of that.
Honestly, that's kind of a homer pick because I like Washington.
That's fair.
I really do like the Commanders.
I personally have a lot of faith in. I have a lot of faith in Danny Dimes, honestly. I do. I think he's a great young quarterback, and I think he's honestly going to do pretty fucking good this season. I don't think he's going to do like. I don't think he's going to do like, holy fuck, who is this guy? Like I don't think he's going to do like that. But I think for on his level, I think he's going to do fucking amazing though. Like and overall, if that makes sense.
No, that does. Fair enough.
And plus Giants have Saquon. Saquon stays healthy. Giants are beating the Commanders. They're gonna be in third in that division easily.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I could definitely see it either way. All right. Well, moving on from the divisions, let's go to the actual subtitle that's presented to our audience. Who do we think is going to win the NFC and AFC, and what are our Super Bowl predictions? So give the two teams the NFC, two teams the AFC, who's going to win that, and then Super Bowl predictions.
Cool. Okay, cool. I'll make mine quick. I've got Eagles playing the Niners, and then Bengals playing the Chiefs. Almost identical, if not. Who was last year in the AFC champ? Was that the same teams?
That's what it was.
Yeah, okay. I've got the exact same. I don't see any big changes this year. Obviously, it's subject to change, but I have actually the Bengals and the Eagles in the Super Bowl, and then the Eagles winning. So, yeah, a little toss up there. I think, I don't know. I haven't seen enough out of Joe Burrow to say this is the guy that can get it done in clutch moments. I think he's fantastic, but I don't know if he's clutch yet. So,
fair enough.
Eagles have a better lineup.
I can go next. Funny enough, I have the exact same thing as Keaton, but slightly different. I'm having Chiefs and Eagles go against each other in the Super Bowl, and I think that it's going to be Eagles winning it. I actually think it's going to be a rematch, and I think Eagles are going to take it. Like I said, like what Keaton said, there's not a whole lot of change coming into this season. There really isn't. I mean, sure for some teams, but it's not going to benefit them for long. Starting a fucking fire? What are you doing?
I'm waiting for my turn.
I know.
Oh, I know what your pick is going to be.
Yeah, we all know who you're picking. It's our year.
Hot take here, fellas. Are you done?
Eagles are winning the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. Rematch. That's mine.
Hot take here, fellas, but
Seattle.
This is the
I
team
knew it,
winning
dude.
This year.
Okay.
I agree with you guys, though. I think it's going to be the Chiefs versus Bengals and Niners versus Eagles, which is a rematch of last year for the championship games. However, I think the opposite teams are going to win. And I think it's going to be Bengals, Niners. Niners win 31-21. That's my score prediction.
Nice.
Not a homer pick or anything, but
No.
hot take.
No. Absolutely not.
No.
Can I change my answer? I think
No.
So
I'm gonna change my
Yeah.
answer. I think Bailey Zappi is gonna lead the Patriots to victory.
he's not even on the team. He got waived.
I know. That was the joke.
Yeah, he did.
Yes, he did.
Oh, no.
It fucking sucks. Mac Jones is our only quarterback.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
Dude, you're in trouble if that's the case. That's not possible. There's no way.
Did you guys
Yeah, you got him and Matt Corral. Good luck with that, bud.
dude,
Same shit. We have Mac Jones and that's it.
can I show you this picture of Bryce Love real quick? Or Bryce Young.
I would love to see it.
Okay. Let me
Is it him being zesty? That dude is a zest fest.
sorry. Oh fuck. Sorry. This one. So my bad. Sorry. I don't know what the other one was, but
Okay.
Yeah.
What are we looking at?
Maybe an Oompa Loompa, because the kid is like 5'4".
Oh, boy.
I was gonna say, because I was gonna lead us into the next topic. I was gonna use that to lead us in the next topic of talking about. I was gonna talk about things to look out for, and one of those things for me was the impact that Bryce Young can have on this franchise. We'll make this quick, just because I still want to get into the a little preview of tomorrow and then Sunday.
Yeah.
But for me, I think, and obviously Zach, I know what your thing to look out for is, and some big news that just happened. But it's probably like Geno Smith potentially winning MVP. But
yeah. I don't think it's in the NFC, but you never know.
Well, I'm excited to see Bryce Young this year. A lot of quarterbacks. I'm not high on really any of them. CJ Stroud to me looks like the most ready, but he's Ohio State. Anthony Richardson is, for me, just a little raw. He might need a year. But Bryce Young to me is I think he's going to be really good. He's on a Panthers team with not a lot of expectations. Not a lot of eyes are going to be looking at him. It's a small market. But also Calvin Ridley's on that team now. And you think about what Calvin Ridley did with Atlanta, you start to see that, hey, maybe this team is actually kind of good. Yeah. I'm not high on him. I am high on Bryce Young. For me, I think he's my best rookie quarterback. But he's also very short.
Bryce Young is on the Panthers and Calvin Ridley's on the Jags.
Oh, I sold, dude. I really fumbled a bag. I had all day to prep. Well, I'm gonna revert my previous statement and say I find no quarterback good this year. Quarterback.
So how's the weather? You know.
Yeah.
Moving on to.
They have Adam Thielen. What the fuck am I talking about? Yeah, they're gonna win the Super Bowl.
Yes. Right.
And Laviska Shenault.
Moving on to my things to look out for. Anyways, Nick Bosa signed today, which was probably the best news of a 16-hour shift I could have been given. He signed for, let's see, Nick Bosa contract. $34 million a year. But I want to look up the exact amount. Okay, 5-year, $170 million contract with $122.5 million guaranteed. So he's making about $34 million yearly, and I believe the second highest is Aaron Donald. He's at $32 million yearly. So it was definitely a huge contract, and I'm excited that he can play Sunday and that we get to watch Nick Bosa and not have to worry about it anymore. Also, another thing that I saw today that I thought was kind of interesting, not anything to look out for, but something that was kind of interesting was Carl Nassib retired, and he retired after only playing 7 years. So I'm kind of curious if bullying went into that or if it was like a mental thing, but shout out to Carl.
Weird.
I thought that was a little bit
Yeah.
interesting, but yeah, those are my things
Good
to
for
look
him,
out
man.
for.
Decent career.
That was interesting. Yeah.
That's sick. Anthony, what do you got, man? Before we hop into our previews.
I think something that's just kind of interesting for things to look out for is honestly just that Travis Kelce news. Honestly, like that, it's interesting. At least hearing that it's Travis Kelce getting injured, and it's kind of funny watching everyone kind of freak out over it, or fantasy managers either getting pissed about it or getting really happy about it because they're playing against him in week 1 at you, Zach Boyson.
Yep.
So I definitely think it's going to be interesting. I don't think he's going to be out for long, though. I give it at least a week, maybe 2. But I don't think it's going to be anything too serious, but it's definitely still something to keep an eye out on, especially if there are Chiefs fans out there or if you have them on your fantasy team. Just kind of be aware, watch it, maybe not necessarily start him this week just in case. Sure, maybe he's tight end 1 still and he's still fucking Travis Kelce, but that's one of their big powerhouses right there, and they don't want to risk injuring that injury even more. And I think that they may potentially start tight end 2 instead.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just probably my thing, at least with him.
Nice.
I like that, man. Nice.
Cool. The only thing that I will
sick.
say before we move on is another thing that I kind of want to look out for, and this is just kind of something that I think me, as in a fantasy player in multiple leagues, kind of wants to look out for is Bijan Robinson, how productive he actually is, because some of the fucking leagues that I've been seeing have him going 4th, and to pick a rookie 4th overall is blasphemy to me. So if he does
non-dynasty too, by the way, not dynasty.
Exactly. If he actually does produce and he does really well, which he can, he has the talent like a fucking Adrian Peterson or like one of these high fucking level
Saquon Barkley.
Saquon Barkley, yeah.
But do rookies come into league and fucking tear it up as a fucking 4th draft pick? 4th overall? Like, are you picking him 4th overall? That's my biggest thing, and I don't think he will. However, he might shut me up. So that's something I'm looking at.
To me, real quick, and we'll move on. But Bijan Robinson, I was thinking about this today. Is Bijan Robinson to me is the NFL's what?
I just saw his name.
Oh yeah, there it is. Bijan Robinson to me is Anthony Edwards 2.0, but for the NFL.
Oh, okay,
community.
Yeah, I like that.
Anthony,
I like that.
not moving to basketball, but Anthony Edwards is like the most like dick-ridden guy. The way people are talking about Bijan Robinson, I might as well just write this guy a fucking Hall of Fame letter myself and just be like, all right, cool, man, you're in.
And he's going to the Falcons too. It's like, dude,
yeah.
Like I understand, like the Falcons have a great offensive line. Tyler Algier fucking rushed for 1,000 yards last year, being I think a 3rd rounder from BYU. But it's like it's the Falcons. Like how good can he be?
Right. Yeah. So anyway, well, we'll talk a little bit more about Bijan next week once we get to see him a little bit. But I would love to get into a little preview. Originally we had it scheduled that we were just going to do a preview of every game because I had made the spreads and all that stuff, but it just take too long. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the important games that we got coming up. Specifically tomorrow night's game, as we are recording this on Wednesday, the 6th, tomorrow is game 1 of the season, and that's Lions at Chiefs.
Chiefs and Lions.
Chiefs are 6.5 point favorites. 3.5 boost at home, and the over under is 54 points. I want to know what you guys think about this.
I'm looking to see if the money line has changed due
this
to
was from
Travis
like 2 days
Kelce's
ago
injury, but I think it'd probably be closer to 5. But I mean, I think it's a fair line. I think the Chiefs will win by 7. It'll be competitive, super high scoring in my opinion, but I think it's a fair line. I honestly think even without Travis Kelce, 6.5 is fair. Not to say the Lions couldn't do it, but I feel like winning by 7 at home. You said the Chiefs are at home, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
In Arrowhead, coming off a Super Bowl.
In Arrowhead, it's energy is high.
It's tough.
You're playing Patrick Mahomes, first game of the fucking year. Your expectations are really high. You'll probably not live up to it. I got the Chiefs definitely win that one.
I agree. I will say I am very excited to see how the Lions will do against the Chiefs, though. I am very interested in that. Definitely see what they're going to be able to do, what they're going to produce, and whatnot. But like like what you guys said, I definitely have the Chiefs at least winning by 7.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat. I still think the Chiefs win. For me, as someone who's always rooted for the underdog, I don't look at the lines as the underdog anymore. I think for the city of Detroit, this is the first thing they've ever had to, like, for at least for Michigan, this is like the first time that they've ever been excited about a sports franchise other than the Flint, Michigan Tropics of a Will Ferrell movie. Really, the only thing they've ever had go for them is high crime rates, and I just like, I think this Detroit team is going to be like a knight in shining armor. However, I am expecting them to make the playoffs, and I imagine a lot of people are. I'm not giving them the benefit of the doubt. To me, missing the playoffs does not cut it anymore because of the expectations that are set for you. I still think Chiefs win, but like Anthony said, I'm really excited to see this Lions team.
Yep.
Honestly, I think this team's going to be really good. So,
next up, we have
Bengals, Browns. Yeah. Zach, you want to lead that?
Yeah.
Is this at the Browns?
It is at the Browns. Currently, it's
Browns.
Bengals.
Hot take here, bro.
Yeah. Bengals at a 2.5 point favorite.
You're saying the Browns are going to win it.
Yeah, I think the Browns are going to win. And the reason I said that is because I remember hearing about this last year that the Browns in the last 10 games have won 8 of the last 10. And they have won every single home game that they've had since 2018 against Cincinnati. So when you kind of put that into perspective, especially with a team like the Browns, which I think they have the talent to at least do it, the Bengals are kind of coming off a shaky preseason where Joe Burrow has been hurt. They haven't had all their targets. I think the Browns can do it. I don't see any reason as to why they can't. And that's my prediction. I think that they cover and they win.
Okay. How's Joe Burrow's injury now?
He's ready to play, but
they said he's
ready to play, and being Joe Burrow as the second best quarterback in the league is completely different, you know?
Yeah.
No, totally.
Yeah. For what they're needing him to be, especially going into a contract year. Yeah.
Right.
He's got to be that guy.
Ready to go. It's like the verbiage that the NFL uses, it's kind of like confusing. You have to like go out, watch these players for the first quarter and really see if Joe Burrow, is he actually ready to go, or is he just ready to go as in we want our opponent to be really ready for Joe Burrow, and Joe Burrow is the second best quarterback in the league. So sometimes it's like an intimidation thing, but I think I'm going to take the Browns, like I said.
Zach, 47 points, over, under.
Over. For sure, over.
Yeah, I'm hammering the over, baby.
Yeah, that would be like one of like that I would suggest to pretty much everyone here. Honestly, for both those games, I would fucking hammer the over. 54, that's still the line for the Lions and Chiefs.
54 is low. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a piece. Like, that's nothing.
Yeah.
I agree.
Anthony, what do you think, man? You think the Bengals, Browns, neither? Tie?
You know what? I'm just gonna hop on the Bengals train on this. You know, neither. It's gonna be a tie. You know.
Yeah.
I think I'm just gonna hop on the Bengals train on this one. Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. Enough said. I'm taking Bengals.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Call me Bob the Builder. The way I'm hammering this fucking over, and I'm also taking the Bengals, dude. I don't see how, even in Cincinnati, I just don't see how the Bengals lose. So I think there's too much talent.
There is.
Just kind of everywhere for that team. My only concern is the offensive line. We've seen that for years, but I don't know. I think this Bengal team, obviously I have them in the Super Bowl, so I'm going to pick them over the Browns. And I don't know about Deshaun yet, so.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Well, we got 3 more games because a lot of the games are just kind of meh. I have a big one that I have circled is the Dolphins at Chargers.
Yeah.
We have a podcast.
This is going to be a great fucking game, bro.
We have a college. Yeah, there's a college football podcast that Settled Down also has, and they do this meme matchup thing. And this is actually, for me, my like quote unquote meme matchup, because as a Tuanon guy and a Justin Herbert hater, I think that Justin Herbert is not the guy to get it done with the Chargers, and I think there's too much talent for the Dolphins. And even though it's a 3-point favorite for the Chargers, it's about even if we're not including the home game spreads. So I'm taking the Dolphins in this one.
I'm also taking the Dolphins in this one. I agree with you, Keaton. I think the Dolphins have a lot more power weapons, and Chargers, like, I don't know, like I'm honestly not even the biggest Justin Herbert guy. You know, I'm not. But yeah, by 3 points, Chargers. I don't know. I'm feeling the Dolphins on this one. Really am.
Yeah, man. Well, I guess I'm gonna be the odd man out here and pick the Dolphins as well. Fucking idiots! You thought I'd pick the fucking Chargers, huh? No, I think it's gonna be a really close game. For some reason, my guts tell me the Dolphins, even though I do think the Chargers are gonna do really well in this season specifically. But my guts tell me the Dolphins. Again, I think going out and playing an offense like the Dolphins and facing someone that's that dynamic with that many weapons, especially for a Chargers defense that struggled last year when they should not have struggled, is honestly a recipe for disaster. Facing the Dolphins for really any team as a season opener is trouble. Like, that is just screaming trouble with how dynamic they are. And to prepare for a Dolphins team that has as many weapons as they do is almost impossible. So I think I'm going to honestly say the Dolphins are going to win pretty big here. I'm going to say 7-10. And I also think that I would hammer the over for this one as well, just because both these offenses are so dynamic. Like, both of them are facing really good offenses. Like, their defenses are a bit shaky, can be good, but we haven't seen it. So I don't know. I think Dolphins win pretty big here.
Yeah, I like that, man.
All right.
I'm surprised.
Next matchup we have is next matchup we have is the Cowboys and the Giants. I
like this one.
I think this is for me. I think it's a clear. I think it's a clear winner on this one. Personally, I'm going to take Dallas on this. What's the over under again? 46.
46.5. 46 as of Sunday. No, as of Sunday Sunday or Monday. That's the current over under split.
Okay, I think I'm going to go over on that one as well, though. I think I am. I think I'm going to have to. Just by a little bit, though, not by much. But I think I'm going to go Cowboys on this. Dak, I'm not a fan of Dak at all, though, I will say. But as much as, my opinion, I think he is overrated. They had CD, but I think CD is going to go on a tear against the Giants, in my opinion.
Yeah. And
what about you, Zach?
Like
God, my gut is telling me to go with the Cowboys, but I really want the Giants to win just because I fucking hate the Cowboys. So I was looking at the records, and typically they split the series in a year. So Dallas wins one, the Giants win one. And I think that's what's going to happen. But typically the Giants start hot, and then they lose a couple in the middle of the season. So I think I'm going to go with Dallas. But I will say, I think I'm going to hammer the under with this one. Both those defenses should play lights out. Maybe not lights out, but they should play well enough to score a combined fucking score 6.5 or lower than that. And I don't know. My gut really wants to fucking take the Giants, but I think the Cowboys are going to come out fucking slinging, and the Giants can't cover them. So I'll go the Cowboys, but I think I would go with the under with that.
Okay.
I like that. I like that a lot, man.
Keaton, what are your thoughts on it?
I'm going to go Cowboys. I'm actually going to take the under, though. I think both defenses are extremely solid. I think for both of those teams, the defense is more impactful than the offenses. Right. I'm not sold on Dak. I know he's a good quarterback, but I don't know if he's the quarterback. And same with Daniel Jones. And I don't know. I think it's a toss-up. I think it'll be honestly a good game. I really do, especially when you add Darren Waller into a tight end mix that they so desperately needed. But I really think the Cowboys are going to squeeze this out. But I think it's going to be like a fucking 17-21 type game. I don't even think 40 points are scored. I think it's low scoring as low scoring can get.
Yeah, no, I
but
agree. That's kind of what I'm thinking as well.
Yeah, in MetLife Stadium though, it could be a toss up. Also, that stadium has like the worst fucking turf for traction, so that's another thing. It's a horrible stadium to play in. So I think I always try and hammer the under. But well, yeah. Last game we got is the Bills and Jets. Bills playing in Bills are also playing in MetLife, but I believe that's on Monday. And it is a 2.5 point favorite for Buffalo. The over under right now is a 46.5. So, Anthony, I'm curious to hear what's your thoughts on this to wrap us up.
This is tough. I think this is definitely going to be one of the most, what's the word I'm looking for? Say difficult matchups of the week.
Toss-ups?
Yeah, definitely a toss-up.
Hard to predict.
I could easily see this just being a flip of coin, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
It all just comes down to who you like, who doesn't look as good, who's new. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, right? He's starting off with the Jets. See how he does. He could honestly do really, really well. I mean, we've seen it happen before. Like I said earlier in the episode, Tom Brady, when he went to the Bucs, he won a Super Bowl once he left the Patriots. And then now we have Aaron Rodgers here, brand new team. He could do amazing. He could pop off, and none of us expected really. Considering from last year where he wasn't really playing the greatest. Then again, he also wanted to get the fuck out of Green Bay. So it's interesting. This can go either way. Justin's got Garrett Wilson, Bills, you have Josh Allen, and then you also have Stephon Diggs, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL.
Yep.
I don't know. My gut's telling me Bills, but for some reason I really want the Jets to win this one. Don't know why. But I think I'm just going to have to stick with my gut. I'm going to say Bills. I'm going to lock that in, and I'm going to say over or under. I think I'm going to go barely over again. But both defenses are very good, so I'm not too sure. Like I said, this game's going to be a toss-up, and this is actually going to be a very fun and interesting game to watch.
Yeah, it will be.
What do you think, Keaton?
I agree with you. I'm taking the over. I think it's going to be a lot more high scoring. Bills are just traditionally a high scoring team, and they don't have a great defense. And I don't know if the Jets do either. I mean, I know they do, but I don't know if it's enough to keep the Bills at bay. I'm not sold on Aaron Rodgers yet. I just don't know what he's going to look like in a new system. We've only ever seen him with the Packers. So I don't know. I still have the Bills. I think Buffalo just has a better team. But you're right. I think to me, that is for this whole week, that is the toss-up game. And I think it's a perfect matchup to have on Monday night. So,
Yep.
Zach, what about you, man?
Kind of going on to, or adding on to what both of you guys said, I think this is definitely the hardest game to predict. Obviously, there's some division games like Bengals, Browns, Cowboys, Giants. Those are really hard to predict as well, specifically just because they split. And in past years, the Bills have dominated the Jets. I don't have the record up right now, but I know they have dominated. So just kind of adding on to like what you guys said, there's two things that are like running through my head. Number one, momentum. I think the Jets are kind of going into the season with a lot of momentum, signing Aaron Rodgers, defense is stacked. They have pretty much everything that they need to fucking win a Super Bowl. Now, with the Bills, they've had drama with Stephon Diggs. Like we said with Josh Allen, we don't know if he could fucking do it. He turns the ball over too much. They lost in the playoffs when they were the Super Bowl favorite going into the playoffs. Them and the Chiefs were. And so that's like kind of what's running through my head. It's like, okay, do I take momentum or do I take talent alone? Because talent alone is telling me I think the Bills are going to win. But I think going into it, the Jets, again, are like this favorited team right now to at least make the playoffs because they have every piece to go there and at least to get to the playoffs, win a game, maybe even get to the Super Bowl. So besides the Lions-Chiefs game, I think I'm going to go with, again, the underdog, and I'm going to pick the Jets. I think they're going to win just based solely off of momentum, like I said. and I think Josh Allen's going to turn over the ball. When you turn over the ball and you give Aaron Rodgers the ball back, it's not a recipe for success. So
Yeah,
that's my
Unless it's
guess,
the playoffs.
and I would hammer the over for this one as well.
Yeah, same.
Right on.
Well, Anthony,
all right,
want to
guys.
send us out?
Yeah, well, pleasure, guys. Thank you for listening on to our week 1, and we are all very excited to watch these games this weekend, talk a little more about fantasy, and go over these games, and then give off a recap of what we think is going to happen in week 2. Ant, Keaton, Zach, we are signing off now.
Yes, we are.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for watching
listening.
if you got this far, and we'll see you guys next week after the season starts. So.